This is your host, Jay, on Enlighten Me, and today we're going to be talking about domestic violence. Domestic violence is violent or aggressive behavior within the home, typically involving a violent abuse of a spouse or partner. So today I have my good friend Nini with me. I've known her since high school. How you doing, Nini?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, this is a very pertinent topic that you reached out for me, and I think it needs to be heard. So
most definitely.
Yes. And so I want you to tell me exactly your experience with domestic violence. Have you seen it, been through it, or anything of that?
Sure. So of course, I just want to start off. I was raised in, a loving household. So a lot of people was just like, how did you get yourself in that situation? Oh my gosh. Well, it's easy to get in that situation. It can happen to anybody. Black, white, Asian, Spanish, man, woman and women, man and women, it doesn't, it's just an epidemic that no one talks about.
Yes.
So I'll just tell my story and hopefully it will help, other people in this situation. But pretty much, my dad, he was dying, he was on his deathbed. So I think how I got in that situation was, grief. A lot of people don't understand that, but it was just, I was lonely. I was, in a very dark place. So I think it attracted something dark in my life. But pretty much, I met this individual, it seemed good, very charming. Of course, that's how it all starts. Charmers, like, like, all right, I like this.
Okay.
And the first red flag that I did not walk away, and I still ask myself that question, like, why did I not walk away when that person did that? Like, usually I would do that, but I'll just put it out there. Something happened. I think we were all drinking, and something happened that night. Okay. So I got a text message from a friend. It was, of course, the opposite sex, and he did not like that. So he got jealous. So of course, you're like, oh, he's jealous. He must really like me. Of course, that's like the first thing that comes through.
Oh yeah, he loves me, girl. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he loves me. Oh man, He's reacting.
Okay.
So he just got mad to me, that text. It was a heated, passionate text, He was just like, you stupid bitch. Excuse my French, sorry, I'm cussing on here.
No, go ahead.
But he was just like, you stupid bitch. You're a hoe, and this, that, and that, and this, and this, and that. So I'm sitting over here trying to, de-escalate the situation, not realizing that I know people who are hearing this are probably like, I would have did this and I would have did it. Let me tell you something. You don't know what you're going to do in that situation. I promise you. If you are like stuck in that situation, you don't know what you're going to do. So I'm just
you're going through things. You're going through things at the time being. So
yeah. So it's like, when people say that, like, well, I would have did this, that makes me, that's a trigger for me now. Because I'm like, wow, I would have said the same thing if I didn't know about, this, you know what I'm saying? So I started to get deep in the deep in the relationship, and, it was just start out verbal, so that wasn't the first time. It was that text message that he sent.
And how long after you, how long did you know him or start dating him? Did this start happening?
You know what? I did not even know him that long, believe it or not. I only knew him. We were salsa dancing, and I did not know him that long. I honestly think it was a new place where I moved. So again, I was lonely. So you're craving that friend, you're craving that person that you're able to see all the time. And, to make it short, I only known him for like maybe a month or so. So moving forward, I got pregnant. So I got pregnant after knowing him for 6 months.
Okay.
So I guess hey, shit happens. I have a beautiful little girl. Love her. That's my she actually saved me. But you know, while I was pregnant, I think that's where, you know, it gets bad. You know, that's when he's actually physically beating me now, you know.
Yes.
So when you're pregnant, you know, I think that's another thing too. It's like you're very vulnerable. You know, you start listening to the excuses. His family wasn't helpful at all, and that's another topic that they were enablers. So they made the whole situation worse than itself. But you know, for my baby shower, I think that's the memory I will never forget. You know, he was hitting me repeatedly till I had a black eye. So for my baby shower, it was actually his sister-in-law that put makeup on my face, but I'll get there next.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so she was putting makeup on my face. So that shows you like they knew the situation was happening. So it was a lot, you know, it was a lot to process. But anyways, you know, when I had my daughter, I actually looked at my daughter and I was like, I can't have you live this way. But guess what? Statistically speaking, it takes you how many times to walk away from your abuser?
You have to tell me on this.
Yeah, it takes about 7 times to walk away from your abuser.
7 times.
7 times. 7 times. So when I had my daughter, that was probably the first time I walked away. So of course, going through the hormones, you're like, I want the father in her life.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see this. This is like they said this involves some like a drug. It's like they bring you to the highest, and they can bring you to the lowest, and you're welcome to see them bring you back to the highest. Yeah, I've seen this.
Yes, and it is a real thing. So throughout that whole time, I was in denial. So I went to like a postpartum group, and I was like, "Oh, it's postpartum," and I kept talking about it. And they were like, "Oh, we think you need more than postpartum therapy."
Well, we're like, "Yo, nurture, nurture."
We don't want to like hurt you. Like, okay, you're saying he's doing this to you, like.
Send her a text message or something. Like, let her know.
Yeah, right. Save her. So, you know, so pretty much like throughout the whole time, like I'm going through this postpartum, I'm having this little baby, and I was clocked out, JJ. I was just like not even like present throughout the whole thing because it was like depression on top of postpartum, on top of like being a new mom. You know, it sucks I didn't get to enjoy my baby girl, you know, especially a baby girl, you know.
Yes.
And that part I can't get back. So that's that part of mommy guilt that I'm still working on with my daughter. But, you know, again, like, look, another topic, you know, when you invite me, we'll talk about kids.
Oh, definitely. We'll do a part.
But no. So 6 months went by, you know, he comes back, he's, you know, like that drug that we were talking about. So it's like, oh, you know, I changed, you know, I did this and, you know, I'm doing this. And then you're just like, oh, you know, maybe he changed, you know, time went by, you know, I'm going to give it a try. So with that being said, like I was back in Virginia and this was all happening in North Carolina. I didn't say that.
Okay.
So I left North Carolina and went back to Virginia for a little while, for like 6 or 7 months. And the impact that you have when the story starts coming back, that's the worst too, because you have your friends that love you, your family that loves you, that try to console and just say, hey, you know, it's not a good situation. You know, we don't want to see you in a coffin. And that was still imprinted in my head, you know. But again, I was in denial. I went to, and this is another thing, ladies and gentlemen, if you are stuck in that situation, to just educate yourself. That's honestly what helped me out a little bit, because it kind of made me, like, when I went back that second time, it made me side-eye him. And I was like, okay, I learned this in the therapy group. It was a domestic violence therapy group. And I'm like, okay, you're doing this cycle thing. You know,
oh yeah, patterns.
You're doing this pattern. It's not changing. Oh, so anyways, he got me to come back to North Carolina to try to make it work. So he was very tactful, y'all. He was very tactful. Let me just put it out there. The man was smart. So we all know the rule of the 6-month rule. When you have your child, when kids are involved, like I said, that's the hardest. When kids are involved, there's a 6-month rule. With every state that you're in, that child belongs to that state. So that's just kind of like a key point. If anybody's making a plan, just do it wisely and try to send your child on vacation, quote. But so yeah, so he had a whole plan marked. Like, he was just perfect. He was just not doing anything for those first 6 months. So guess what? After that 6-month mark, he reverted back to the abuser, you know. So, you know, and I say this, you know, I'm not even saying the whole story because I don't want to take up your time.
No, go ahead.
But, you know, throughout the whole process, for example, he was not religious. He had a different religion. So I went to church, and that was another issue where he slapped me in my face. So, you know, he was holding me down, took my child from my arms, and left with my child. So that's another thing. Everyone, like, when they take your keys, if they take anything that means a lot to you, that's a form of kidnapping. And a lot of people don't say that. And it's even hard for me to say it now. It's like, dang.
No, I appreciate what you're doing.
No problem. So that's a form of kidnapping. When they take your keys, when they do anything to keep you there and you don't want to stay there, that is a form of kidnapping. So anyways, he would do stuff like that. And again, it was hard because I wasn't leaving my child. And he would threaten me in terms like, okay, like, if you leave, like, I'll call the cops and they're just going to bring my child back to me, you know, because it was a different state.
No, this man's out of control.
So, facts.
This man's out of control.
Big facts. So, you know, with that being said, it's like, you know, that's where that mind control comes in, and a lot of people don't understand that. And again, like I said, it's a trigger when people are like, well, if I did this, you know, it would. No, you don't know what you're gonna do, y'all. You know, it's really it's vicious. Yeah, I mean, the physical part, yeah, you're gonna get some licks in. You can heal from that, but when they start messing with your mind, it takes a long time to recover. It's a form of brainwashing, literally.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, there's a whole process, just brainwashing to get your brain to literally condition your brain to say this is a form of love. And it's not at all.
Oh yeah, it becomes habitual.
Yeah, it's not a form of love. So anyway, so the last part that got me to leave, thank God my child was again y'all vacation, quote quote, you know, because I knew it was getting shaky down in North Carolina. So my child was in Virginia with my mom. You know, I was transitioning to move back to Virginia anyway, and he basically pretty much choked me and banged my head on the wall. I screamed to the point where I hoped somebody heard me, but again, someone did, thank God. And I had a choice to make, y'all. You know, the cops were knocking on the door, and I was like, either I could stay here for life and have this be my life with my child, or, you know, I turn this mofo in. And that's what I did. And and it was, I'm gonna get spiritual, but it was like a spiritual, you know, I don't know if it was my dad, I don't know if it was God or his angels, but it was a force that was there, because there was a voice that was basically saying, like, if you leave, I promise you happiness. You know, I promise you happiness. It's not going to be no more fear, no more this. And I kid you not, I left and I have been happy ever since. So stuff is real, y'all. Like, you know, and that's why, again, I wanted to share my story, because, you know, the first thing of it is embarrassment, shame, guilt, you know, and like I said, a lot of people don't discuss those things that happen to them because of that, because society makes it to where that person's stupid for staying. And I just want to say, you're not stupid. There's help out there. Domestic hotline is 24/7, 365 days. And, just educate yourself. That's all I can say with that. But that's my testimony. Any questions?
No, I was wondering, did he ever try to get help or seek help, or did he say he was going to get help? And of course, went down to 7-Eleven or something like that.
It was more so, yeah, he would say those things but never do them. Yeah, he would say those things but never do them, meaning like, he had a drinking problem that did go to that. And I had to train myself not to say like, oh, it's because he was drunk. No, it was because you got deeper issues. So, and it's growth too of an individual. I'm not saying like that person's always going to be like that. I don't know. Some stay that way, but sometimes, growth does happen. But, I'm not there to want to see that. That's his path, But, yeah, he would promise lots of stuff, but never came through. So.
Was there a gun ever involved in any of these cases at all?
There was not a gun involved, thank God. But there was threats of it. Like he used to threaten me. He used to say, if you marry somebody else with my kid, I will find you and kill you.
Oh my
so
goodness.
So he would say all those things. But again, we all know, I don't know if y'all be watching ID channel, but I do. And I'm just saying, I take all that seriously. So.
What's ID channel? What's that?
Oh, ID channel. It's the one where they show like cases of situations that I was in, or other situations where it's always domestic violence, where the person never takes that person seriously. I mean, it's almost like if someone threatens a government building, you know what I'm saying? Like, you take it seriously. It's not a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, he said that. I was like, ooh, I'm looking at you side eye. That's what made me leave the first time, to Virginia, to get away, because I was like, this is too much.
Because if I was reading that they said when there's a weapon involved, a gun typically, it increases by 500%, and most domestic violence is incorporated with that 19%.
Yes.
I'm glad there was nothing like that.
Well, JJ, thank you. I'm truly blessed, because a lot of people don't get a chance to get away, man. Like, and that's why I'm just so passionate to just let people know it's okay. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be embarrassed of it. Like, if you're not in it, let me just put it this way, statistically speaking, if you're not in it, somebody who's in it. That's what's so crazy about it. You know what I'm saying? So, no, it wasn't a weapon. But they also say the same thing about choking as well. When they choke, it gets worse the next time.
Oh, yeah. It escalates. It always escalates. And like you said, there's usually somebody knows somebody if you're not in it. I said
that's right.
85% of women are involved in domestic violence.
Yes.
85%. That's 1 in 4. And again, 1 in 9 men are involved. And this is coming from the NCAD, National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So y'all can find these facts and statistics on there as well. So it's backed up. I'm not just being arbitrary right now. And that's what's crazy. Like, again, when you were talking to me about this and I was doing my due diligence, I was like, whoa, what is going on here? So this needs to be done.
It needs to be done. It needs to be said, because I promise you, JJ, this podcast is helping somebody. It literally is helping somebody to say, again, it may not be the person actually in it, but if you know somebody that's in it, approach it differently. Still love them. Still be there for them. Because the first thing that you don't want to do is be the person that lover is telling them that you are. Meaning, and this happened to me a lot. They don't love you. They're only doing this because they don't like me. So naturally, you want to protect your lover or significant other. It's just natural. That's what good people do.
Primitive. Yep, it's primitive.
Yeah. So the person who's in it, they don't realize that they're in it, sadly. But other people who's watching it, they're like, this is like, no, like, you need to get away, but just be there for that person and just give out resources and try not to be overbearing, but just be like, hey, well, just check this out. If he's saying this, just be careful. If it feels like you walking on eggshells, just watch for that, but handle it gentle. I mean, because you're dealing with someone, honestly, that's a brain patient, meaning like their brain is getting worked on. So, just approach it differently. Like, they're not stupid. They're not dumb. This is a real life disease that's out here that no one ever, not even the courts want to talk about it, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, so, that's all I can say is just approach it differently when you know someone that's in that situation.
Yeah, a lot of people would just shun it off like, no, I'm okay. No, if you really care about that person or love them or whoever it
Right.
is, start intruding on what's going on, cautiously and carefully, of course, but actually take note and care. I think a lot of people just say, like when you say somebody in the morning, good morning or hi, it's nonchalant, but this is a serious issue right here we have going on. It's not being highlighted.
It's serious. It's almost like you sleeping with your worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sleeping with one eye open.
Oh, definitely.
and like I said, that's honestly what saved me too. Is like, I had people that loved me and didn't like. I mean, I kind of condemned myself because I was embarrassed myself. I was like, I'm back here with a person that's like this, but I'm gonna give it a fighting chance. You just like just that fighter. Like, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, you don't know my boo boo. You don't know
you don't know
my
my
man.
man. Like, and that's just me. I'm just a passionate person. Like, I'm gonna fight for the person I love and what have
that's
you.
Normal.
But
that's completely
it's normal. I was normal. But you got to do it for the right people. Don't do it for the ones that are literally putting their hands on you, and it doesn't even have to be physical. It can just be verbal. It can be verbal. Verbal's worse, y'all. Like that you will walk out the house just. I wasn't even looking myself. I wasn't glowing. I was looking gray. Like, so just a couple of things, and just look up the wheel of abuse. And if it does get to a part where you have to go to court, people stand by your side at court, so you're not alone. And it's a very tough process, but you'll get through it. You'll get through it. I am a walking proof of it.
Yeah, I think people don't, going back, you said it could be verbal. A lot of people just think, which is physical is the most common, but it can be psychological, or it can even be neglect. So people don't understand.
They don't understand. That. Yeah, it comes in different forms, and that neglect is, and it's crazy. Like, again, like that verbal part is like, verbally saying something to you and then gaslighting. Oh boy, you don't want to talk about that because everybody, look, I don't know if that's like a natural thing, but it's like, oh, that gaslight is serious. Like, gaslighting is a trip.
It is. That is wow. And I think, so you said most of the time, because I know I was looking up a couple other things, that it usually happens between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Is that usually the typical time anything would happen to you, or people that?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? Yeah, it would happen most of the evening time. Yes.
Yeah, when everything's done for work and everything like that.
Yep. I had one friend, and he was very helpful. He's like a brother to me. And he was just like, no one deserves to be a punching bag. Who wants to be a punching bag when someone comes home from work? Like, I was like, I never thought about it. I was like, that's so true. Who wants to be a punching bag? Like, so it's just, so evening times is the time that usually happens. That's a good question.
And that is, has he tried to contact you at all or reach out?
Unfortunately, and this is the second part of it, we share a daughter. In the process to protect my child, and I'm still in the process of trying to protect her, and that's the thing where it's like no one really understands, and I'm like, I have a lot of I'm mama there, because and I don't understand why. I mean the courts, and this is why I say it matters what state you're in.
Yes.
So all states are different. Just want to note that.
Okay.
Virginia, they have a thing where they take it very seriously, so I'm very thankful of that. So he has visitation rights. It's supervised. So, I'm blessed in that aspect. So,
but has he tried to come on to you at all, or slick slide comments?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. If my husband's hearing this, don't worry, baby, I handled it.
Hey, get the chopper. Get the chopper. Oh no, I can't say that.
But not romantically. I think he knows because I placed those boundaries with like the restraining order and everything like that. Like, thank God I did those things. Actually, it was an investigator that told me to do that. Thank God I did that. So, with having that place, I think he knows his limits, but he'll try to sweet talk me. Like, oh, thank you. Blue, 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 blue. Nope. Sorry, that ship has sailed. Just let's keep it business at this point, in regards of our daughter. So, I try to not get sucked up in, because again, I'm a sweet natured person naturally. So I try to not get sucked up in the whole, like, oh, thank you. No, we're just going to keep it business. So.
And has he ever apologized? That's the next question.
No, he has not. He has not apologized. Okay. Nope.
You are one strong woman, I must say. You are one strong woman.
Thank you. That
You're
feels
one
good,
Hey, gotta be worried, because I'll be thinking things, I'm like, oh man, I forgot who I was for a second.
I know a lot of people, JJ, they were shocked. They were, they just couldn't believe that I was in that situation. But, again, like I said, it can happen to anybody, man. It can happen in the blink of the eye, so.
And I'm glad it didn't escalate, because I know that.
Me too.
1 in 3 women are usually fall victims of homicide or murder.
Yes.
So that's a high number. That's a very
very high number. And do you even realize how when the media covers it, they're careful to not elaborate that way. And I'm like, dude, talk about it.
They don't want to. It draws people in. We as human creatures, we're creatures of habit, and we like negativity. We think 80% of the time negative. So
right. And they don't do like they do with drugs. Hi, if your drug abuse, go here. And I'm like, no, y'all need to do the same thing with domestic violence. Just call it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. They're scared to call it for what it is. And I think it's because again, and I hate to say this, but even sometimes. I know. I went there. I went there
everywhere. Oh, yeah.
I went there.
Hey, we're passive learning right now. Yep, yeah.
I went there. They don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to have a group at church, but it's everywhere.
No, I believe it, because it's more it's leading cause of injury for women, more than car accidents, more than muggings, and more than I can't say the R word since it's going on YouTube. I can't say the R word, but all that combined. Yes, domestic violence is higher than all those combined.
It just is, and it and it's like a thing where you got to make sure also, y'all, you got to forgive. You know what I'm saying? You got to forgive, but don't forget. And that's a powerful word, because if I wasn't able to forgive him, I probably wouldn't be happy in my relationship that I'm in now.
Definitely not.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just a big thing that everybody just, that did get out of that situation. If they're asking well, how is she so happy? Honestly, God, and just love, and forgiveness. And trust me, y'all, it wasn't an easy process. It wasn't oh, he did this. No, it took, honestly, probably this year, to be honest with you. That I can honestly say, okay, I wish the best for you, and I hope you find healing and natural happiness, and you heal from that disease that you had. You know what I'm saying? And just wish the best for someone that did put harm in your way, because that means that they were abused somewhere. So I had to research a lot too, JJ. So I had to stop hating him, and that's even hard for me to even say. It's very hard for me to say, because again, I'm a good-hearted nature person, so it's hard for me to even say oh, I hate you, I wasn't raised that way. So just naturally, it's just you just got to make sure that you just forgive and wish the best. However, still be safe, and if you have kids, keep them safe, and just move forward somehow. Whatever it is, whatever you practice, move forward.
Yeah, because 1 in 15 children are exposed to or eyewitnesses to domestic violence, and out of those numbers, boys are 2 times more likely to abuse their partner or child. And I was Jesus, so we have to start putting a stop to this and put highlight to this. Because this is just astronomical.
You know what it is too? It's just like what you said, it's educating yourself.
Definitely.
So it's definitely just being aware of what it looks like, what it sounds. You know, I go back to the little OJ Simpson. Y'all can say what y'all want to say, but that man done heard that. I don't care if it's on YouTube. He done did something to Nicole. But he done did, you know, because if you listen to the videos, you know what it was. You know, they have recordings of it. So it's just like, again, you know, if you hear it, if you see it, don't sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a relative that's doing that, don't sugarcoat it. You know, be supportive to the person, and try not to. And don't get me wrong now, y'all. Now, two people can be abusive in the relationship. So I'm not saying that it's not going to be, you know, just one person or the other. Like, it could be two people that's abusive in that relationship. But at the end of the day, toxic is toxic. So, you know, but I think the important thing too is, like, you don't want your kids to see that. You don't want them to witness that and become that, because they will become that, because that's how they know what love is, you know.
Yep, they harbor that environment. Exactly.
So yeah, so that's a big thing too.
And I think to wrap this up again for everyone, even men, I know men that you guys don't like reporting this because y'all feel like
because they feel like a wimp, or they feel like but you know what, y'all not wimps. Like, y'all just need to leave. And someone told me this, if you get to that point where you feel like you have to hit the female, or if she's really aggressive, y'all not meant to be together. You need to walk away and leave.
Yes.
So you don't get to that point.
It's not going to mess up your masculinity or be detrimental to it or anything like that. Just walk away. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but you just gotta, you know, it's not worth it. And I think on average per minute, 20 people are abused per minute, which equates to 10 million women and men a year. And that's only 20 calls.
Let's hope that they hear this recording.
Yeah, let's lessen these numbers. Those are rookie numbers. We only need those rookie numbers. We need to lessen these numbers.
Right.
All right. So 20,000 calls are placed. That's not even a lot. Out of 10 million, 20,000 calls.
And look, and cops don't even like answering domestic calls. They hate it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's like, don't feel like you're wasting the time, because I know, like I said, like, that wasn't the first time the cop came to that place where we had stayed at. The first time was when I was pregnant, and actually it was a female cop, and she was like, look, I have kids too. So she was like, is he doing something to you? But at that time, my baby shower was the next day. I didn't want to, you know, cause a scene. You know, I wanted to be happy. I was selfish in that way. I just wanted to be happy. But again, that's just not the way to do it. So, just be aware. Be aware, y'all.
Yeah, you're a lot stronger than me. You're a lot stronger than me.
You know, I appreciate that. You know, I'm serious. Sometimes I need to hear that sometimes, because again, like, I'm out the clear, but sometimes I am hard on myself, especially with my daughter, you know, for her seeing all that. It's like, again, it's mommy guilt, you know, and so I still have to heal from that, you know, so.
Okay. Well, Nini, I appreciate you speaking on Enlighten Me. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers or anything like that?
Yes, y'all. So again, if you're in a situation here right now, or if you know someone, tell them to call the domestic hotline. I believe it's like 1-800-DOMESTIC. But you can also Google it. Don't be afraid to Google it. There's ways to erase it, to cover your tracks. There's also, like in Virginia, we have something called Samaritan House, but they also have houses for women that are abused, or, you know, and for men too. If you just need to seek help, or if you feel you're endangered and you're scared of that person, they have resources where, you know, and this is real life, it's not on TV, they have resources where you can go to get away from that person. So it is out there is resources, you know, and I just want to, you know, clear that up, and hopefully, and I pray that my story saved someone, inspired someone, and just put like a little bulb in their head, just to say, okay, I need to change my life, if not today, but tomorrow. So That's my closing. Thank you so much, JJ, for having me.
Of course,
I
of
can call
course.
you JJ, right? Because like I knew you since high
That's too
school. Like,
light.
don't
When
do
you
me like
said
that.
the first time, I was like, oh,
Don't do me
they
like
know
that.
too
Okay,
much.
y'all. So I can call him JJ because I knew
They
him
know
when he was
too
like in
much.
6th grade.
I'll be trying to be weird and quiet in the back. Hey, what the hey?
I'm sorry. What is your name on the little podcast?
It's Enlighten Me. It's Enlighten Me.
Oh, my
or
bad.
Jay. You can call me Jay.
Oh, my bad. Okay, Jay.
No, it's too late now. They know too much. If I hear somebody call me JJ and it's not Nene, you're gonna have some problems. 1+1.
Yeah, don't call him that, y'all. Literally, like I called him that because I it was middle school. Like literally, I knew him since 6th grade, and
just keep going.
What? But it's good stories to tell. People can't tell stories like that. No, but again, thank you so much for having me, and I would love to do another podcast. To talk about in depth of it. All right, y'all. You take it easy. Be easy, and I'm out.
All right, thank you again for joining me on Enlighten Me, and that's it. Peace.